Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to go through our obligatory risk disclosure. So let's go ahead and just do just that. Okay, so just want to remind everyone that the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader is to be used as a general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. We all understand that the use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, contractors assume no responsibility or liability for use or any misuse, any use or misuse of such information. Future trading does carry a fair amount of risks. Not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Dark screen. Okay, well, let's see if we can get that displayed here. Try it again. How's that? Hopefully that's back up. Aslan. Okay, I don't know why that happens, but we'll leave that up there for a few seconds, and then we'll go ahead and move on to the news portal here. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to news portal. Okay, we're just going to go ahead and pause here and see if folks can see the news portal. So, fair amount of news today that could impact the markets. So let's take a look at that here. All right, so just again, we have Procter and Gamble who reported Q3 earnings. We had just received CPI. Looks like they came under expectations here. Okay, slightly across the board. CPI year over year, CPI month over month, core CPI year over year, core CPI month over month, all came in under. Okay, we have the S&P Services PMI reporting here at 9:45 Eastern. And then we have manufacturing PMI reporting at 9:45 Eastern. And then we have the sentiment with respect to inflation coming in at 10 a.m. Okay. So, and then that's pretty much what we have in store. So still a fair amount of news today on Friday that could impact the markets. Okay. Something to be aware of, 9:45 and 10 a.m. being a couple of times that we need to keep in mind. All right. So now that we have a kind of a view of the news here, we'll go ahead. Trump is coming to your country. When is Trump coming to your country? Oh, Malaysia. He's going to Malaysia. Okay, Aslan. He's going to come visit Aslan's going to greet Mr. Trump. Is that correct? All right. Let's go ahead now and take a look at the news, not the news portal, we're our regular trading portal here. So we'll stop share here and then move into you're hiding myself. Okay. All right. I might do the same. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can locate my trading platform. There it is. Okay. There it is. Okay. So again, we're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart here. We're just talking through some trades in group coaching yesterday. So taking a look here at the not the gold, but the platinum. Let's take a look at gold here, shall we? Hey Simon. There's my lazy lion. All right, let's see if we can get rid of the lazy line here for a moment. Doing some education here. All right. Let's remove some of our drawings. Okay, so here we are. Again, gold showing a little bit of weakness. Again, we were kind of of the opinion that maybe that this was just a mere kind of bounce away from this 4,070 level, and that was going to accelerate maybe another leg to the upside. On the contrary, right? We got a inside candle, okay, and now we're developing somewhat of a bearish candle here to the downside, which leads us to believe that maybe there is maybe more momentum. Okay, maybe there's more momentum in store for us in the gold market, right? So this 3-bar reversal that we thought was going to maybe lead us to a bullish move or bullish swing doesn't appear to be the case. Okay, it appears that we are maybe headed lower. Okay. All right, so let's take a look here at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see, the kind of the EMA that I'd like taking a look at and kind of arrive at short-term sentiment. And here you are. You can see that price is below our 9 EMA. I'm taking a look at kind of momentum. Momentum-wise, you can see that the negative DI is above our positive DI, and the momentum it's kind of falling from our peak, but still relatively strong here up at the 40 level. Okay, so momentum still seems to be quite strong here to the downside in this market. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead now and move down to the 30-minute chart and take a look here and see what the 30-minute chart has to say about all of this. And you can see that looks like we got some sort of I guess the news event was I guess good for the gold, right? The gold reacted positively from the negative news that we got on the CPI, right? So on the short term, looks like we are developing a little bit in the way of some bullish price action. We see that price is developing a rather, I wouldn't say the strongest candle in the world, but certainly a bullish candle to the upside. Okay, so let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action here. So we'll locate the start of Wednesday. Oh, sorry, start of Friday. Sorry, Thursday. Kind of mixing up my days here, guys. Start of Thursday all the way to the close, right about there. Okay, and you can see that there's a fair amount of bears, okay, in the market. Okay, so we extended to the downside. We came back to the low end of value, and what did we find? We didn't find more buyers. We found more sellers. And then the sellers kind of took control and has driven price all the way down up until recently as a result of the CPI news. We've gotten a little bit of developing bullish candle here. Now the question remains: is this just a pullback? All right, is this just going to serve as a pullback? Right, and can we expect maybe at some of these higher prices? I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at this 4,200 level. Okay, that could maybe serve as a location where we could see price reverse away from. Right? Why do I use 4,200? Well, 4,200 is an area. Right? We have an area here where it was prior support. That support was broken to the downside, and maybe this point, this 4,200 level will serve as some sort of location or reference level that we can use for a I guess continuation trade or a reversal trade at this point to the downside. Let's take a look at the initial balance range. Let's see. It appears that for the most part we were bearish up until that news event. Okay, up until we got the so let's go ahead and take a look at what Asia and London were able to do with this market. And let's start off with Asia. Okay, so Asia was very much bearish. Again, very nice move again during Asia market, right? Right, we got a nice little extension to the downside, a pullback to the 9 EMA, found some sellers, and we stayed below the 9 EMA for most, if not all, the entire Asia session. London came in, London, probably not as bearish as, say, right? Yes, it does happen quite a bit. London also a little bit bearish, created a little bit of a double bottom, and now kind of created a rotation back to IB high. Now the question is 4100 going to serve as some sort of resistance? Well, so far it appears so, right? We do see some indication that 4100 is we do see some sellers there. Okay, now we'll need to see how this current candle closes, right? So this again, we're back inside the initial balance range of London, so that could cause price to kind of remain in some sort of consolidation range until it decides as to which direction they want to take the market here. All right, so 4100 obviously is another level. We have this 4120 level that I've marked earlier. That could also be another kind of resistance area to for price, and where we could see maybe a continuation of this bearish move. Like I said, this candle here is very much a news generated candle, which is now going to cause our initial balance range to probably be a little bit wider than normal. Okay, so if we look at the day session here, now you can see that our initial balance range is now relatively wide. So it's going to take a fair amount of effort here to extend the range, right? So the news event kind of forced for the sellers to kind of come out of their shells here. Okay, so we see that right around this 4100 level, right? 4100 level looks like we found we found some sellers. Okay, so we have 4100 on the top, on the upper side, upper end, and then we have, say, 4070 on the lower end. Okay, so pretty large range in the gold right now. So what to make of this? Well, I'd like to see exactly what the strength of this candle, how strong this candle will close, because right now it's showing a little bit of weakness. Okay, still even with this wick, it most likely will close above this 9 EMA. I'm going to open up my VWAP here. I don't know why that disappeared, but we'll see if we can add it back to the chart. There it is. There's our VWAP. Okay, so it came up to VWAP. So this, again, another location where we could see a continuation of this move, right? Another logical location. So we'll have to see how this candle closes, and then see what kind of candle develops adjacent to it. Does it develop a bearish candle, giving us an indication maybe that it will continue lower? Or does it give us a bullish candle that closes above the VWAP and maybe gives us a move here back to at least 4120, okay? And possibly higher. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up the visible range volume profile just to see. We have quite a bit of volume here up. We have actually a couple of volume nodes that could be attracted to price. We have this 4160 level above us. We have this 4125 level that could be visual targets for this market to reach. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for the gold market. Again, the market that's been bearish, but could easily turn bullish on us now. So I'm going to be watching this candle here to see how strong this candle closes, and then see how price behaves at the edges of this initial balance range. Okay, this may be a day where we just play between the ranges, right? A high and low. This could very well be a range day. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the crude oil market. Okay, crude oil market. So we'll start off with a daily chart and see what the daily chart has to say. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here, and you can see that a little bit of gappy kind of moves here, probably as a result of all the uncertainty given that we have, and events that we've taken place globally with respect to the war, and maybe the supply of Russian oil. Okay, so there's some uncertainty there that's probably caused the market to rally here some. Okay, so the daily chart showing maybe a little bit more signs of bullish behavior than we have seen in crude oil in some time, right? So we have this gap that was created as a result of some of the news events, and now we have a little bit of an indecision candle up against an area where we would expect some sellers to live. Okay, right now price remains below our point of control, so it'll be interesting to see if we are able to get above 63.25, or we remain in some sort of range below 63.25. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-hour chart. What does the 4-hour chart have to say here? We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that we've been in some sort of consolidation here for most of the overnight session. You can see that we have a lot of overlapping candles here, a lot of indecision, right? Okay, a lot of indecision here, up at the highs here, right around 63. Okay, actually 62, right? Right around 62. There seems to be quite a bit of indecision, right, up at these highs. Okay, so the question now becomes, have we found some sellers, and are they going to begin to take control of this market to drive price lower, or are we going to continue to grind higher? Okay, so that's kind of where we're at right now, a little bit of in a range. Okay, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart, see if we can actually maybe get some additional context here, at least on the shorter time frame. Again, continues to look like we are in some sort of range kind of price action. I'm going to go ahead and open up the fixed range volume profile here and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. And let's see, we're going to go ahead and locate the start of Thursday here, right about there, drag that across to the close of Thursday, right about there. And you can see that while we did manage to get above, manage to get above the value range, it was short-lived, right? So we had a leg higher. We got into the 62.60, 62.70 level, and looks like we found some sellers and have driven price back down to an area where we could find some support here, right? We're back to the point of control of the not only of the fixed range but the visible range here. Okay, so this area here, right, could provide us maybe a little bit of a bounce, right? Point of control, right, could provide us a little bit of a bounce, because this is the source. This is the beginning of our leg higher, right? So if they liked price here at one point, chances are they like price at this level again at 61.75. Okay, so we'll have to see how this plays out. We'll have to see how this current candle closes into the open of the market here. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the initial balance range across the various markets. Let's see what the initial balance range was able to do across these sessions here. All right, so we'll start off with Asia. Okay, Asia on the more. This is probably more of a London thing than an Asia thing, right? Asia was pretty much neutral, I would say, across the board, right? I'm gonna turn this off because my charts are getting quite busy. Okay, so you could see here that Asia was pretty much neutral. Okay, we have kind of a neutral market here during Asia. London starts, and London gives us a nice extension of the Asia range, and then we come back to the 9 EMA, and it offered us yet another move to the upside. Now, as we get to the start of the U.S. session, we had a little bit pre-market, we had a little bit of a sell-off back to a level that we would expect to see some buyers. Now, the question now becomes, is the U.S. are they going to continue either following both mainly London's lead, and are we going to go ahead? Let's take a look at London here really quick, but just to confirm my bullish view here. All right, so yes, so a little bit of a failed auction, I guess you can consider it a failed auction. So now we got maybe a confirmed close here. There is the possibility that we could rotate all the way down to 61.41 before we see any sort of move to the upside. We see that price is below our 9 EMA and working its way below our VWAP. It needs to get below 61.70. If it manages to get below 61.70, I think there's a good possibility we can get down to 61.40. Okay, in this market, with a kind of stop above 62 being the line in the sand here, right? So right now, I would say that on the short term, I would say that maybe we are a little bit on the bearish side of the market. So yeah, choppy market for crude. Yes, does very much look like it's choppy. But yeah, there's I would say there's a possibility that we could reach 6140 before we see any sort of strong move back to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm seeing on the crude oil. Let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ. Okay, NASDAQ. Okay, here, and take a look and see what the NASDAQ is doing. So looks like the news, the CPI news, was actually met with positive, but it's kind of interesting. CPI came in lower, and the market has kind of rallied from that information. So I would say that this is rather significant. We're seeing that price is working its way above this 25,350, 345 level. Okay, above the level that we've been watching, right? Can it get above it, right? So now, if we manage to, obviously, at the close of the day, hey Faye, by the time this candle closes, this 25,400 level, this could be a quite a day that could cause the market to rally here, right? Yes, it finally vanquished the tariff candle, right? So I don't know, it's maybe the result of the tariff, as a result of the CPI news. Now we're out of the control here of the tariff candle, right? So now this 25,400 level, could it provide us a level where we can use that we can use for price to continue to accelerate to the upside? Okay, so we'll have to wait and see, at least on the daily. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. Looking at the 4-hour chart, I'm going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. All right. And we're going to take a look here and see what the 4-hour is saying. Well, the 4-hour is telling us much the same that we're seeing on the daily, right? We see that price is above, right? Above this area that we've been talking about, this 25,300 or 400 level. Okay. And we're above some of the things that we care about, right? We're above VWAP, we're above the 90 MA, we're above the value area that has been defined here, right? And then we have point of control below us, all indications that we could see further price action to the upside. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see, kind of do a little bit of volume analysis here. Let's kind of compare our fixed range volume profile from the session prior and see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. I think we know the answer to that question, but just to confirm, okay, there it is right there. Okay, so you can see that with especially given again, this would be the CPI candle, right? We have the CPI candle. This would be it, right? This is our CPI, PMI, CPI candle. All right. We got some negative news that caused the market to rally. We see that price is well above our value range, right, from yesterday, indicating that the sentiment, at least for now, seems to be bullish. Okay. So looking at the initial balance range, we'll take a look at the initial balance range. We'll open up the Asia session to start here, okay, and we'll see where the initial balance range and what they were able to do with this market. They were able to take this market higher, right? So we had a nice tight initial balance range. We extended to the upside, closed back inside it, got another candle, retested the highs, and off we go. Okay. Now we've reached the 200%, and we're working our way to maybe 400% extension before we saw another pullback back to VWAP. Notice how we put, once we are in a trend, how the 90 MA and VWAP offer us locations to participate in trades. We get our news event and off we go. Okay, let's take a look at the London market. London is also telling us the same. I'm assuming, again, with that candle, with that CPI candle, we had price kind of hovering on the edge of the initial balance high, right? Kind of waiting until the news event. Got the news event and off we go. Okay, to the upside. Okay, so fair amount of, I guess, momentum here to the upside. I would say that we probably need to look for locations. I think we've already identified 25,400 as a possible area, maybe to support a bullish trade. Okay, somewhere in this area here could offer us a location for an opportunity to the bullish side in this market. That's a level that I'm going to be watching. The other thing, obviously, is to wait for the initial balance range to establish here in the New York session. I'm kind of looking here at the volume delta bar. The volume delta bar is on the positive side, and the volume is aligned with the general direction of the market. So we're aligned there as well. So headed into the session, I would say that given that we're breaking some daily levels above, that we are in some sort of bullish kind of market, okay, in the NAS, and that we should look for some opportunities again on any sort of weakness to see how we might be able to participate in this move. Okay, so that's kind of what I have for the NAS. So I'm going to pause here. I kind of overlooked to do my little marketing here earlier, but now that I realized kind of where we're at with our likes and the participants that we have in the room, I'm going to kind of put my marketing hat here and kind of encourage people. If what I'm sharing with you resonates, it's helping you prepare for the session, anything along those lines, that I would encourage you guys to hit the like button, leave a comment or two on the portal on how these sessions are indeed supporting you and supporting your ability to navigate the markets here. Okay, so now that I got that one additional like from that marketing, we'll move on to the ES here. Okay, take a look at the ES and continue our review. All right, so we'll start with the daily chart. Daily chart again, breaking the 6,800 level that we've been watching, right? 6,800 or 6,810 is kind of been a level that we've been watching for some time to see if price manages to make a new high. Well, still developing, and it'll be interesting to see if that actually happens. But will we see our candle break this kind of resistance zone that we've drawn here, right? So we thought, well, maybe we're developing a little bit in the way of a zone where price is going to continue to rally to the downside. With that news, or with the news leading up to that news, we've been developing a daily candle that's looking to break some structure or create the structure to indicate that there's further upside in this market. All right, so let's take a look at the 4-hour. 4 hours kind of indicating the same kind of thing. I'm going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here for a moment. Here it becomes quite busy with the initial balance available. We identified something here from an earlier trade, but in any case, you see that price is above our VWAP, above our 9 EMA, and has broken some structure here to the left hand side. We'll need to see here over the next hour or so on how this current candle, how will this current candle close, whether it gives us an continued opportunity for some upside in this market, or whether this might be an indication that where we maybe kind of attract a bunch of buyers to come in at the highs, only to take them back to revisit some of the lows here. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart and see what the 30-minute chart has to say. Again, we have that CPI candle. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the fixed range volume profile and kind of confirm what we already know. I believe is that the market seems to be in some sort of rally. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so you can see that price is above our value range. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mark this level. This level is going to be an area that I'm going to be watching to see if I can get some sort of opportunity. All right, right around this 67, I don't know, 85 level, is it? Something like that. 67.85. This level looks like to be an area where we could, if price were to come back to it, this would be a logical level that we would find some potential buyers. Now we're well above that level. We're kind of flirting with 68.17, 68.20. What's another level that we could use that is a little bit closer to the market? Well, we have this level here. That's another level around the 6,800 level. Okay, so 6,800 could be another logical level where we could participate in this market. All right, let's take a look at the initial balance range across the various markets here. So we're going to go ahead and open this up here across the various sessions and see what the various sessions had to offer. It does appear that way. It does appear that way, Alejandro. Okay, so during Asia, we had a nice move here to the upside, right? We had a nice extension, a retest of the highs, and off we go. Okay, London. Also providing us success. Much of that move has probably been news driven, right? We got to the highs here. I'm going to turn off this resistance zone since we are kind of technically above it. So you can see here that price, as a result of that news, okay, is also caused the market to rally above this London initial balance zone. Okay, so it's above London, above the 90 MA, above VWAP. Okay. Yeah, in some cases you can maybe make that case. Right now we're still kind of we still need to understand what to make of this wick, right? Pretty large wick here, right? So the question is, have they cleared out a bunch of stops and this is going to continue, right? This is probably this is a possibility, right? Did they clear a bunch of seller liquidity, right? And now there's no longer as many sellers that kind of drive price lower. This could be an indication that we continue to the upside. Now the question becomes, where do we enter? Well, again, if you've been around me long enough, I'm not going to participate at a high, right? If I'm going to be a bull, let it be at a level where I can manage my risk. So again, 6,800 seems to be that level for now. I'm gonna need to wait for this initial balance range to establish in ES before I decide on which direction they want to take the market here. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the Dow. We'll start with a daily chart here. Okay. Looking at the daily chart, you can see the same. Probably not as much of a price. Technically, is still below, but developing a bullish candle nonetheless. So we're seeing some momentum to the upside, right? Our positive DI has crossed above our negative DI. What's a little bit of concern is that our ADX indicator is not really giving us, or maybe it's in the beginning stages of maybe curling up to the upside, indicating that there's a fair amount of momentum in this move here to the upside. Okay. Right now, we only see the positive DI. So the positive DI is above our negative, which is kind of what we expect because we're kind of a little bit staircasing up to the upside. But the ADX itself is still showing some weakness in the sense that the momentum, whatever momentum of the direction that we're in, hasn't really garnered the momentum that we would expect, right? So it's kind of, we're losing a little bit of momentum here up at the highs here. Okay. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, again, you can see that I'm going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance range. Got too many initial balance ranges here. Let's see if I can get rid of some of these. Why I have so many. Let's turn off the initial balance range below here. All right, there it is. Okay. All right. So 4-hour chart, kind of indicating the same kind of thing that we've been saying on the daily, right? We're up against the highs. Now, are these highs are we going to continue in range in the Dow? Is this just going to provide us some sort of range kind of price action in the Dow, right? Or are we going to break some of these levels, much like the NASDAQ, much like the ES, and maybe give us an indication that the market continue higher? Now, we are seeing some price action of late that would indicate that maybe there's some more upside opportunities in this market. We still haven't broken above some levels here that would indicate, right, this 47,200 level still seems to be an area of some resistance, right? So we're going to mark this area as a resistant until we can get above it, right? We got to it. This is the second time we got to it. Maybe not the second time, multiple times, right? If you look back, how many times have we gotten to this level? Once, twice, and this is the third time. Well, eventually, with each attempt, we're losing a little bit of seller liquidity in the process. So that could translate into eventually being able to cross above it. But again, I'm not going to be the guy, right, with the battering ram trying to get price above this level. I don't have the liquidity. I don't have the cachet to make that happen. So I'm going to let the bigger players of the market, if they decide that they want to drive price through this area, let them be the one. I don't want to be on the front lines, okay, taking all the arrows as I cross this 47,000 to what is that 230 level. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, we'll do a little volume profile analysis here on the historical. Okay, so we'll take a look here at Thursday's start of session here. We'll drag that across to the close of the session right about there, and you can see that we're well above, right? We're well above value here, right? From Thursday, okay, indicating that there's a fair amount of interest here to the upside in this market. I'm going to do some comparisons across the sessions on the initial balance here. Okay, so we're going to start off with Asia. All right, Asia is indicating that the market has extended to the upside. Look how nicely price came back, right? Came back to the initial balance range from Asia, offered us an opportunity for a leg higher, right? This is not by accident, guys, right? This initial balance range establishes the value for that area. Whoever drove price to the upside, if they were interested at that point to drive price higher, if price comes back to that level, it stands to reason that they would still be interested again. Okay, so Asia very much to the bullish side. Okay, London certainly as a result of the news also extended to the upside. Okay, so again on the short term, yes, nice 400% extensions on these during these sessions. So again, headed into the session, again, I would say across all the equities, it does appear that we are in some sort of bullish market. Okay, bullish market here. All right, so let's take one final pass across all the markets here. Now, what's odd? Okay, what is odd is that we're seeing bullish price action across the gold as well as the equities. It's not often that we see both markets because they tend to be inversely correlated, right? Whatever advances we make in gold usually translates to breakdowns in equities. Right now, we're seeing bullish momentum in both markets, which is not often. Okay. Yes, and we definitely have a wide initial balance range, right? So, right. So this initial balance range in gold is quite wide, right? So the question now becomes, are we going to have the participants to continue to drive price higher, right? I'm going to take a look at the ADR. We've already exceeded the looks like we haven't exceeded ADR. We reached the ADR to the downside. Look how nice ADR provided us a logical level for reversal in price. Again, there's no accident to this, guys. This is not by accident, right? We have statistical definitions on these areas. They offered us a little bit of a double bottom. So the market, again, does appear bullish. And it does appear that we have still a fair amount of opportunity to the upside in this market, right? We have the average daily range is up at these levels. Not necessarily saying that we're going to reach there, because we do have some areas here that could pose to be resistant. Okay, but maybe coming back to the point of control of Thursday is not out of the question here. Okay, all right. So gold heading into the session appears to be somewhat bullish. Crude oil is going to be kind of a squirrely market. Again, it's very news driven. Any sort of adverse news on supplies could be met with, participants trying to drive price higher. Okay, we're going to go ahead. We have a relatively normal, I would say, range so far in the crude oil. It is to the downside at the moment. Okay, so I think we mentioned in that we were maybe inside the initial balance range for London, and that we probably will see 6140, the low end of this value range, before we see any sort of bounce in this market. So 6140 does appear to be a level that we could use to potentially look for maybe an opportunity to the upside. Okay. And then across all the equities, I would say that we are looking quite bullish, right? We've reached this average daily range here in the NAS. ES also probably similar. Okay. ES, there it is. Also up at the ADR highs. And let's see, lastly, the YM also have all reached their ADR or average daily range highs. Okay. Across the board, bullish. So what can I tell you? Gold looks bullish. Crude oil a bit, I would say maybe bearish to range, and then equities across the board look bullish to me. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much what I have for you guys. I still have a couple of stragglers out there to get the full kind of participation with respect to the likes. So so I'd encourage those two folks, if they did find some benefit in this review, to to pay their tax, as Faye would say. And actually, I got a like removal. That's not good. Maybe I should stop all on my head. Water holes, waiting places to come to me. Yes, exactly. Continue to wait, Aslan. Continue to wait on various water holes here. Right, identify water holes here, and identify areas where price could come and revisit, and be prepared. Yeah. Okay. Trading cautiously today to close my week. Yes, we should be cautious. End of the week. If opportunities present themselves, we should continue to entertain them. But we probably want to be a little bit more patient than usual on a Friday, right? So hang out at your water holes. Okay. Wait for that three-legged gazelle to come your way. Okay. If you get evidence that that area is going to indeed be in the direction of the trade, then you need to pursue it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, as Aslan has so eloquently said, have an excellent weekend. All right. Trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. Oh, I'm almost even here. Didn't lose that like after all. So there's still hope. All right, Antherwell. All right, Faye. Have an excellent weekend. Simon, Antherwell, all have an excellent weekend. Denada Alejandro, thank you, Dirk. And we'll talk to you guys again on Monday. All right. Have an excellent weekend, and we'll talk again soon.